Amelia Earhart was born in Kansas in 1897. As a child, Earhart loved the outdoors and was often called a tomboy by those around her. Her childhood, however, was not always easy as her father battled with alcoholism. Her mother eventually left her father and raised the family on her own. Amelia admired her mother's independence and took on the same strong attitude. Amelia first became interested in planes when she attended an air show in Long Beach, California. Her father, who had reunited with the family, paid a pilot $10 to let Amelia fly in his plane. It was a ride that changed Amelia's life forever. After only 10 minutes in the sky, Amelia decided that she was going to learn how to fly a plane. Earhart worked odd jobs, doing everything she could to pay for flying lessons. She cut her hair in a short style like many other women aviators at the time, and bought herself a new leather jacket. In 1921, Amelia bought her first plane, a bright yellow biplane. Only 1 year later, Amelia was already breaking records. She flew to a 14,000-foot altitude, which was the highest a female pilot had ever flown. Then she went on to become the 16th woman to get her pilot's license on May 15, 1923. Amelia then, in 1928, was asked to make a flight across the Atlantic. Amelia agreed, but ended up only being a passenger on the flight, which was disappointing. Despite her small role, she was still called a hero, and when she returned home, she began to think more and more about doing the flight alone. Amelia continued to work on her flying, setting several records and placing highly in competitions. In 1931, Earhart married a man named George Putnam. 1 year later, Amelia made the decision to fly alone across the Atlantic. Earhart's flight was the opposite of smooth. Ice and clouds coated the wings of her plane. She began to have mechanical difficulties, and she realized she wasn't going to make it to her planned destination of Paris. She found a spot to land in a field in Ireland. Despite not making it to her final destination, she was still seen as a hero. Earhart went on to set 7 speed records and altitude records in the course of 5 years, and had one last plan: to fly around the world. Earhart gathered a team and began to plan. The trip was supposed to begin on March 17, 1937, but several problems occurred soon after takeoff. The plane was taken to Hawaii for repairs, and the trip was eventually canceled. However, this did not deter Earhart, so on June 1st, Earhart and only one other crew member took off once again. The duo flew down towards South America, then east towards Africa, and then finally crossing the Indian Ocean and landing in New Guinea on June 29th. It is here where things get interesting. Earhart's plan was to fly from New Guinea to Howland Island, a small island in between Hawaii and Australia. The island was small and there were several challenges in getting there, including bad weather and having to use the stars to help navigate at night. Several errors were made when preparing. Earhart left radios that would send long-range signals behind in order to make room for extra fuel. However, even with these extra fuel tanks, the plane still did not carry enough. Earhart and her co-pilot set off on July 2nd, only to face detrimental issues. First, the overcast weather made it difficult for Earhart's co-pilot to be able to see the stars and keep them on course. It is also rumored that the maps the team were using could have been incorrect. This led to Earhart getting off course. When Earhart tried to radio a Coast Guard ship positioned off the island, the communication was difficult. Earhart and the Coast Guard could not get the same frequencies. Soon the Coast Guard received this message: "We must be on you, but we cannot see you. Fuel is running low. Been unable to reach you by radio. We are flying at 1,000 feet. The ship attempted to reply, but got no response. This was the last anyone heard from Amelia Earhart. Immediately, a major search was conducted for 16 days. Smaller searches, funded by Earhart's husband, continued, but on January 5, 1937, Earhart was declared dead, despite never being found. There are several theories as to what happened to Earhart, some more intriguing than others. Some say that Earhart was appointed as a spy by the president and was captured by the Japanese military. Although this theory is interesting, no concrete evidence has been found to support it. One of the most plausible theories is that Amelia's plane simply ran out of fuel and she was forced to abandon it. She then, with her co-pilot, died at sea before she could be rescued. One of the final theories is that Earhart landed on an island close by to where she was supposed to land, and she and her co-pilot died waiting to be rescued. Physical evidence, such as parts of clothing and pieces of plexiglass that match the size of Earhart's plane, have been found on the island. Amelia showed the world how important it is to pursue what you love, and she showed women that they were capable of doing anything they put their mind to. Although her disappearance was tragic, Amelia Earhart left a lasting impact on the world as one of the bravest pilots in history. What do you think happened to Amelia Earhart?